Hi, my name is Lorena Bell, and today I will be giving a speech about the attack on Pearl Harbor using Pathos, Ethos, and Logos. Pathos is an appeal to motion. Ethos is making an appeal by a person's credibility or beliefs. And Logos is an appeal to logic. These are all rhetorical devices. Rhetorical devices are used to convey the meaning with the goal of persuading the audience towards the topic from a perspective. Today we will be starting with Logos. This device is used because it appeals to logic by stating facts. What this means is that the attack on Pearl Harbor was a very risky war that ended with a lot of casualties. But what was found out with all the given research is that Japan had to steal resources. They also took time before they attacked because they feared the Pacific Fleet. What this means is since Pearl Harbor was attacked in such a vicious way, the United States became a world power. Although the attack was very unexpected, unfortunately it still happened due to the fact that it was an act of war. The Japanese planned an attack and hit them in all the right areas even though they feared what the outcome might be. When Japan attacked, they had several major aims. First, they intended to destroy American fleet units, thereby preventing the Pacific Fleet from interfering with the Japanese conquest of Dutch East Indies and Malaya, and to enable Japan to conquer Southeast Asia without any interference. The attacks on Pearl Harbor galvanized the American people and they pulled together in unity, which helped create the United States into a world power. The unexpected attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 was an act of war before the war was even declared. This matters because they showed signs of strength and power when they came together as a unit. Although they were attacked and many lives were lost that day, they still managed to pull themselves back together. However, it did take them a while before everything went back to normal. In conclusion, Logos is used to persuade the audience by using logic and reasoning such as statistics and facts. What this means is that when Japan had stole resources, it took time before they were able to attack the United States because they didn't have everything they needed. At the time, Japan was trying to take hold of resources that was coming from Southeast Asia and planned to attack the Philippines. They would have also tried to attack the Soviet Union. This would have all been possible if they succeeded in taking resources from Asia. Although an attack still happened on Pearl Harbor, they ruled it out in the beginning because Japan didn't have all the materials that would have helped their plan succeed. The conventional wisdom held that the Japanese would try to seize the resources of Southeast Asia and perhaps attack the Philippines. Other analysts predicted an attack on the South Soviet Union. A Pearl Harbor attack was ruled out because it was believed that the Japanese lacked the capacity to mount such an operation. This matters because when Pearl Harbor was attacked, by that time Japan had all the resources they needed to make sure that their plan went through perfectly. In the beginning, as I mentioned, Japan didn't have all the resources, which is why they seized resources from Southeast Asia. With everything that led up to the attack, one thing for sure that was never proven was whether or not the attack on the Soviet Union happened. Therefore, Logos is used by using statistics and facts to prove reasoning to this matter. Next is Ethos. Ethos is making an appeal by a person's credibility or beliefs. What this means is that when Pearl Harbor was attacked, a lot of people were injured and killed, which is why the admiral said, "I fear all we have done is awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." He realized that they made a huge mistake when they attacked Pearl Harbor. What this means is that Japan knew they had made a grave mistake when they went and attacked Pearl Harbor. I believe they did this for a good reason because they watched over the communication lines for a long time, which took a lot of patience and time out of their day. Roosevelt's address to Congress after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Japanese Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, who planned the attack on Pearl Harbor, would reportedly write in his diary, "I fear all we have done is awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." This matters because it was very important that Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto realized where they went wrong, because a lot of lives were lost, including innocent families who had nothing to do with the rivalry between the two. In conclusion, Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto died because of a man that went by the name of William F. Hazley Jr. They planned Operation Vengeance, and this name was given to the American military operation to kill Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto of the Imperial Japanese Navy on April 18, 1943. During the Solomon Islands campaign in the Pacific theater of World War II. Next, Lastly, I will be discussing pathos. Pathos is used for when the author is trying to convince the audience by appealing to their emotion. When Pearl Harbor was attacked, many innocent lives were taken because of the vicious ways of the Japanese. What this means is when the attack on Pearl Harbor happened, their ships and airplanes were completely destroyed, and many lives were taken when they had no part in the war. In all, the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor crippled or destroyed nearly 20 American ships and more than 300 airplanes. Dry docks and airfields were likewise destroyed. Most importantly, 2,403 sailors, soldiers, and civilians were killed, and about 1,000 people were wounded. This matters because most of their materials were destroyed, and they didn't have much time to realize that Japan was going to attack them. In conclusion, when Japan attacked the United States, it was very unexpected, but once it happened, it was already too late because they couldn't bring back the people who were already dead. And as for the people who were wounded, they went through a very long and rough recovery. The reason why pathos is most important is because it's appealing to the audience's emotions. This is because when Japan had attacked Pearl Harbor, they had a bad feeling about it. But they still did something that they knew was wrong anyways, and it was based off their emotions, based off how they felt about what was going on at the time. What this means is that when Japan dropped a huge bomb on the United States that lifted a huge vessel, because the explosion was so massive, no one really had time to get out, so everyone who was inside died instantly. The battleship USS Arizona burns and sinks after the bomb that was dropped on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese on December 7th, 1941. The forward deck of Arizona was struck by a 1,760-pound bomb that triggered a massive explosion that ended up lifting the 33,000-ton vessel out of the water and killed 1,177 sailors and Marines instantly. This matters because it was a very huge explosion that killed many innocent people who weren't able to get off the vessel in time. They died because of the fact that Japan hit them with a major sneak attack. Once this vessel was hit, it had a major outcome because they knew once the war was over, everything was going to be changed, everything was going to be different, and the United States ended up entering into the war. This is why pathos is used to appeal to others' emotions, because during this entire war, it was terribly sad because a lot of lives were taken and they had nothing to do with it. In conclusion, this is why the rhetorical devices known as pathos, ethos, and logos are used to convince the audience about a certain topic. My name is Lorena Bell, and this is the end of my speech about the attack on Pearl Harbor.